I mean, I threw all caution to the winds. At 9 o'clock in the morning, we would have, you know what a nip of brandy is? I would have my nip of brandy, would have his nip of brandy, and we would drink it in the toilet. 9 in the morning, right? And by this time of the day, we were all smashed. I mean, totally smashed. And when I say all, I mean up to the editor of the newspaper.
Well, Casey was not a journalist in the true sense of reporting things. You know, if you send Casey as a news editor, I learned not to do it onto, say, a boxing tournament. You know, say, you know, this boxing match, go and report on it. Who won the fight would be the last thing he had in mind when he wrote his story.
He was a writer. He was a professional, as good as any professional in the world, and that's what we all thought.
And for him, it's an amazing situation of, you know, isn't this crazy that two people should be knocking the hell out of each other?
As a young guy, he used to write pieces about very funny pieces. He was one of the funniest writers. Got a thing called On the Beat, and you know, and stuff about, you know, about the shebeens and so forth.
He just came back with his own stuff and wrote it, and we published it because it was not only amusing but also perceptive about the life, or a facet of the life we're leading.
Casey was a very tiny, handsome young man. He really was handsome and quiet, and he was very observant. He had a lot of humor, but in a way he was, when angry, he was really short-tempered, and he used to be so tough that one would think he would, you know, put up a great fight. I remember at one stage in the car when we had been traveling with one of the drivers, John Taukubong. Now Casey lost his temper and took a cigarette butt and nipped on his neck. And this guy jumped out and he said, "I'll kill you, Casey." And Casey didn't seem to care. I mean, he would have literally killed him.
Casey only spoke to people he found interesting, amusing. You know, if he thought you were boring, he'd say so, which is why he got into a lot of scrapes with, little as he was, you know, guys looming over him saying, "How the hell can you talk to me like that?"
But he was an awful snob. He was an awful social snob. I mean, he wouldn't mix with people at parties. He would just talk to one guy and everybody would want to speak to Casey, and he wouldn't speak to them the whole night. Because I think he was just full of bullshit, quite frankly.
Yeah. He was very clever with words and can insult people. Think 5 minutes later, my God, that guy was being nasty. You know, the moment was gone.
He would keep quiet in the shebeens and just maybe communicate with him, but whilst he's doing that, he's observing what is happening. And he won't even write, but he'll go back and do his column.
Casey, being the tiny guy he was, we had to either drag him out of the room or cool down the other guy, say, "No, look, you know, this is just a silly boy, you know, don't take him seriously. He doesn't mean he's drunk, you know, ignore him."
But when you read what he wrote, you wouldn't believe it. Because he was such a communicator of the township scene. It was just unbelievable. I mean, he had such an ability to take all the words people used to use in the language, you know, the slang, the toxital and everything, and do it in such a wonderful way. And also in some ways, some sad ways too, you know, because all these clownish writers are also quite sad in their way. He used to write these stories about the bug, you know, this bug stuff, and very sad stuff about bugs who get fat and then you squash them and kill them. And I mean, there is a sense of an almost shuddering pain inside the guy when he wrote it. But it was so, the beauty is it was so funny, you know, so funny. I guess that's a wonderful thing about great humor. It can be very sad too.
For me, one of his most interesting stories is the one is a conversation between two bugs.
Two bugs were sitting and chatting in the nook of a wall in the house of discussion. One bug yawned and confessed that it was feeling sleepy, but it dared not sleep. It always enjoyed listening.
Do you believe in evolution?
Yes. Why ask?
Well, I was just thinking. Last night I bugged that chap who calls himself President.
Yes.
Yes, his blood is flowing in my veins. So I'm his blood relation, in a way. Maybe some centuries to come, I might even evolve into a human being. And who knows, I might be elected president too.
What will you do when you're elected president?
I will make laws. Humane and human laws. Nothing but laws.
Oh, so it means you'll forget your pug brothers. Even me, eh?
No, chum. Yes, I will appoint a minister of squalor, whose sole business would be to see to it that every human being stays dirty.
Yes.
I will ban all disinfectants, encourage bug immigration,
Yes.
and tighten up on emigration. Anyone who disagrees with me, even on a small matter such as the weather, will be named a bugamist and banished to a concentration camp for an indefinite period. Excuse me. By bugs. I will make such laws, will build me a monument after I'm dead for being the one bug who fought relentlessly to uphold bug supremacy.
Okay. You would escape criticism from other democratic countries if you carried on like that.
Woe unto those that dared point a finger at me. I would of necessity have to be tough. After all, my problems would be unique. What with a president who was once a bug?
Oh, stop talking like a human being and let's sleep. Wake me up at midnight.
Yes.
Casey brought in this element of satirical humor into it because we were all free, even reflecting the serious side of black life, not to write in the formalistic, journalistic style that was used by everybody else. You know, we each wrote as we felt about it.
They wrote with a kind of contempt at their situation, I guess is the word.
We were inventing a new style of journalism, not because we deliberately set out to do so, but because we didn't know any better.
When Sophiaton was moved in 1950-something, 55 or so, and people were moved to Soweto, the whole literary and socio-political essence of black life kind of changed. It became kind of very harsh, very hard, and very angry. It became very kind of activist, and it didn't have that free-flowing exuberance, almost intoxication of the writing. But these guys, in drum, Casey went to Soweto, and bit by bit, the situation became totally unbearable for him. The life, that magic from the past was out. It was very sad because he was also unable to keep his job.
Later years, he was drinking even more, sort of degenerating. We didn't know what to do to help him out.
But the writing, I think, was the most important thing. And I mean, the life itself is something that. I mean, today I'm such a proper man. I feel like shuddering when I think of the things we used to do.
You know, whatever, if you described a funeral, you'd end up laughing.
He said,
didn't nobody say let him holler?
If he was going to be a writer, he was going to live as a writer and die as a writer.
Midnight! Ow! You
You scared me. You scared me, you stupid bug.